Hello, friends. We are going into relaxation today. Hello, friends. We are relaxing with Henrik today. My name is Henrik. If you're new here, these these relaxation sessions are like collective times for us to kind of tune in to kind of return to the simplicity that is available in us. That where we can come and seek freedom, which I talk about today. So that might seem easy for most of us to seek freedom, but it might also seem kind of naive to seek freedom. And yet we are all seeking freedom. Like every society is kind of seeking a sense of freedom. And yet we might get sidetracked from our focus. Society gets sidetracked in drama and all these wars and complications in opinions. So we kind of lose sight of where we kind of what our focus is. So seeking freedom is kind of it is really what we can do internally and externally. And relaxation is like that which can be done or happen, or you will actually experience relaxation when you start seeking freedom, or when you start relaxing you will start experiencing freedom. Whether it is kind of balancing the inside and the outside world. We can easily think that the outside is affecting us and we just take everything in, or what's going on inside of us affects everything else. We are wounded or have pain or all this stuff, and we kind of put it out onto the world. So that's when people start creating drama. They put our woundedness out upon the world. Or we sometimes see that there are situations out there of drama, and then we take it in. And hence we are kind of suddenly, we are left in this kind of fragile state. A fragile state of dependency either on the external world or the internal world. External world, we're then looking at kind of how people are doing. Internally, we're looking at how we're feeling, how we're perceiving life. So that is what relaxation can help us kind of move through, so that we can start moving through and finding more ease and peacefulness and awakened state of freedom in our life. That is what we can have when we allow ourselves to go down that journey. In society, most societies, they're kind of orchestrated differently. Some societies, like Norway, they're extracted on the society or like the collective society. And I've kind of created, because they had enough money, they kind of create like that everybody's being taken care of. They have a protection, that everybody has the same education. So you kind of create a collective feeling of an awakened society. You can say we are in the age of enlightenment. So that is kind of where we have created more societies that have more of an awakened mind in it. Like in America, for that other side, they're kind of creating more of an independence. So there's different paths. You can choose politics, how to govern the country. You can choose to be independent and go and work, or get your own education, or get your own money. You can seek. So here you seek freedom independently more. So not everything is just given. You have to kind of take it. You have to go for it. So it has a different. It's a more masculine. It's more of a focus. You have to build yourself up. So that is one way of awakening. You can go through the masculine. You have to go for something like work. While the feminine is a little bit more like the collective, the family, the tribe, how everything is orchestrated. And when you kind of see the tribe, then you feel like, oh, everybody's taken care of. Everybody's fine. I can relax. It's a little bit more like the mother, my family. My kids are good. I can relax. The dad is a little bit more like, I relax when I have enough money, when I'm successful. So there's different ways to kind of, so that is in the West, we kind of have focused more on these aspects to awaken. And yet then we see, like in, for example, India, where there's more of a spiritual connotation, where the focus has been not building the society so much as more focusing on giving you the room to spiritually awaken. So that is just a little bit more like, yeah, you let people, mostly men, since you kind of have to go away, you become a naked yogi, or you become some kind of sadhu in the mountains. So you kind of go off and you work against awakening, which is you're seeking freedom to kind of awaken. So all these things have kind of been laying there. Now in Norway and in the Europe, or in the West, we've kind of focused more on building more the collective, more the society, building up the strength of the society to have that independence. So we kind of built up. First, we kind of went through for the man to kind of push through and kind of dare to start getting voting rights, compared to just living in a kingdom where the king just, the few on top is controlling. You got the voting rights, and then gradually you got voting rights for all men, not just the rich or the landowners. And then gradually you included like every color, every race. So it kind of expanded gradually. Just like in America, you included race as well, because there was a more diverse country. So it has an expanded energy into it. And then after the man got rights, then the woman saw, well, there's room for me as well. And then you can easily say like, oh, the man is holding me down. Well, sometimes one has to go first, and then the other one can come after. So suddenly the woman also got rights, voting rights. So suddenly you have those sides, the masculine, feminine, the mind and the body. Yeah. And then, well, then now we had kind of voting rights for everybody. So we've gotten freedom in a way. We kind of built that up. That's been more a focus in the West. But then we still are stuck in the family, in the connection between man and the woman. And it's actually, the awakened man is more logical. It's thought, understand. We structure the society so it fits. The man, the mind needs to be like, oh, I see the society. I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to get enough money. I'm going to get everything. So you feel like accomplished. So you feel like, oh, I have independence because I've created my life. And yet the woman, since the women are more connected to the body, they more easily go into feeling the pain or feeling the emotions. So that is also part of human, but then they are more connected to it. So then they can easily become more, I feel like this and I don't want to do this and I feel like that. And every day is a little more kind of a, goes up and down. So it's just like my dad, when my mom got into like emotional things, my dad was like, don't say anything, just keep quiet. Try to avoid stirring the emotions. So the man can easily be like, oh, I'm gonna just avoid stirring up the woman. But from that mental perspective, we think that the emotional aspect of our body or our feeling aspect is somewhat fragile. So then we try to avoid it. We just want to be like, so the people that kind of work best is the one that just have clarity of mind. And yet, as now humanity awakens, we kind of also need to kind of include our body. So then the kids, and especially the daughters, because the daughters are more inclined to follow their mothers, they can see that the dad kind of treats the woman a little bit like the emotional stuff as a little bit as a negative. So then it's easier to kind of, you see the younger generations now, they get almost a little bit more fragile. They get easily offended. They get easily emotional because it's like frowned upon, seen, looked down upon. So then it's easier to, when anything is looked down upon, it's easy to get stuck in it because nobody's supposed to tell it. We're all free, so nobody's supposed to tell you what to do. So then we create therapies and stuff to try to handle these emotions, or pills or different to handle emotions or the feelings or the pains. But that is kind of where we're actually headed towards now, from the mental awakening to the physical awakening, which we actually are talking about here, which what kind of I've been focusing on for the last more than 20 years, which what I realized as a chiropractor in Tai Chi, I realized that there is a different way of connecting with the body that we have to dare to also address, not just the mind, but also the emotion, also the physical. That in that connections, we can allow this energy to flow, and it can, in this, when we dare to like not diagnose it so much, because diagnose is just the mind trying to organize and fix. Just give me a technique, tell me what to eat, tell me this. That's the mind wanting order. Well, the body is the feminine, it's like kind of chaos. So it requires a different maturity to kind of engage with the body and daring to kind of awaken the body. So that's what I found, and that's why I'll talk about relaxation, because I found that the most simplest of ways to connect with the body is through relaxation, or just like when you go to sleep every day, when you lay in the bath or shower, like it's so easy, but we kind of, the mind almost thinks it's too easy, so it's won't. That's why nobody really truly dares to surrender and relax. So we're kind of, because there's many layers of emotions and physical sensations and energy that we have kind of, when we awaken through the mind, which we have to, it's easy to kind of collapse, and we're still kind of centered in our belly. We're still centered in our body. We haven't lifted our energy. We have, as we start controlling life, the energy kind of simmers down, and it actually, like, it doesn't stay as high vibrant as a little baby. was or is. So our journey is to kind of let this energy come and awaken, and daring to find that intention that we can actually come back into that bliss, into that ecstasy, into that kind of joyful, flirtatious ease that is just daring to connect and to enjoy life. So that is where like relaxation is needed to kind of take us on that journey. So that's what we're doing here. Short story made long, or long story short. So, that is why we kind of connect with these Wednesdays, relaxing with Henrik, that I call it now, and also doing some, doing some um, retreats. Retreats coming up in a couple of weeks, and in online. And also, I actually totally forgot. But I was gonna also show off my new book. I'm showing it off on both. Got like actually my jacket on here. So it looks like this, and it's got my beautiful jacket on. So that's a little symbolic that we brought it in today. And yeah, so it's kind of different ways of setting the energy, connecting. Because it is kind of our intention that matters when we open up through, because we have to kind of look at what kind of freedom are we having. We have to dare to look at these things, because our ego have a tendency to kind of we have accepted just that we are free, but freedom also is in how do we respond to challenges, how do we respond to life, how do we respond to being triggered, how do we respond if we don't get our way, if we don't get our will, how do we respond to a boyfriend or a wife or parents or kids or work. What kind of emotions are we doing? What kind of strategies are within us that we are kind of using? So that's where like our ego is kind of created this stable base to keep us in the mind, but then for us to kind of truly awaken our being, our spiritual being, we kind of have to dare to allow these thoughts to kind of get freedom and open the mind and to kind of move beyond that. So that is the reminder, and kind of why we talk about it, because this is something like organically in the body that kind of has to awaken gradually. And me as kind of a guide have kind of connected to that freedom, so that you can kind of, through me, connect to that freedom in yourself and realize that it's possible. So that it's because it kind of requires faith. It kind of requires an understanding that it's possible. Most of society is kind of like, nope, we have come as far as it's possible. Societies have kind of been like, nope, we can't grow more. It's hard to see what is beyond. So I'm kind of talking about the beyond because it's hard to understand, because what you haven't felt and experienced, you can't totally grasp. So you will kind of be like, oh, I think I got it. And be like, no, like there's a patience that is needed for that to kind of to connect with it, because it is so different than what you can understand. And it's not your understanding that will get there. It's the daring to have faith and daring to be guided and daring to receive. That is where you truly connect. Daring to be guided, daring to be led, daring to receive, daring to not know. So all the easy stuff that everybody already knows. So we're doing a little bit last part of this talks. Whether you're here live or you're listening to this later, if you want to close your eyes, I will bring a little bit of this awakened christened energy or Floriness energy in this book, and let you kind of tune into it. So close your eyes, just drop your shoulders, sit back on your hips, whether you're laying or just sitting back in the chair like I do, just let it sink back. And I'm gonna read. Taking time. Time can be seen as the grace of compassion. Taking time to be is an act of compassion with oneself. And confronted with time is where we can find this compassion. In that we find our choice. This gentle notion, a yes or a no. No need to worry, just choosing. And the book is kind of written in this way that it's not there to feed your mind completely, just giving you small tidbits of adjustments. So close your eye, continue to close your eye, just drop your shoulders a little bit more. And let the energy then kind of starts bringing down into your legs. And just like a yawn, it comes up again. And up in your jaw, just like almost like neutralizing or popping your ears in an airplane. The tension comes up, the energy comes up, and it goes out. Beautiful. Come back in. We are done for today. There's going to be a retreat in a couple of weeks, June 10 to 12, I think it is. I will post more about it a little bit up, but it creates a focal point, just like the Norwegian retreat in August. Anyway, give me a DM if you're new and you're wondering what this is, and if you have any questions what I'm talking about, then I might bring it up in further future talks, or next Wednesday for another Relaxing with Henrik. Anyway, I hope you have a beautiful day, guys. Ciao. A beautiful